Hey everyone, what's up? Well, welcome back to the fifth review on the Rocky series, and today I'm gonna talk about Rocky 5, which I think is one of the greatest sequels of all time, a Stallone's masterpiece. It's a fascinating, is a fantastic film. Fuck this movie. Fuck this piece of shit movie. Fuck this piece of shit movie. Fuck this movie. That's what I think. It's not a great sequel. It's one of the worst sequels of all time. I hate this piece of shit movie. Every time I watch Rocky 5, I'm like, am I watching Rocky film or I'm watching a drama film? I mean, hell. Yeah, that's how I think. Hell, I think. I'm drinking. I have to drink because this movie, I just keep skipping this movie, Now, Rocky 5, yeah, kind of, I think I broke that box. Anyway, Rocky 5, Rocky 5, I'll say one of the worst Rocky films so far. Even as a kid, I was disappointed. I mean, I don't know, I still think Creed 2 is the worst one, but Rocky 5, I mean, I don't know, Sylvester Stallone, he did this movie for greed, or for the money, he admitted he did it for the greed, he did it, and Sylvester Stallone hates this film. John G. Avildsen from the first Rocky returns, and just like the Karate Kid Part 3, Ralph Macchio hates the film. I mean, Ralph Macchio, he was like 30 years old, and they put that young girl, that she was 17 in it, and she was like love story to Daniel, and Daniel insisted, because he gets married, he insisted that their friendship starts by logic. I mean, just platonic. Their friendships, their relationship starts platonic. I think Karate Kid 3 is one of the worst sequels of all time, and I think Rocky 5 is the worst sequel. It's garbage. It's just trash. I mean, it's boring film. It's long. It's overlong. It's boring film. I mean, it's not a Rocky film. Doesn't feel like a Rocky film. There's on IMDb. There's this person who wrote a title, a great story about father and son. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I hated the title. Still hate the title because, in my opinion, Rocky 5 is just, I would rather watch Over the Top. Over the Top is about father and son. But this movie, Sage Stallone's worst performance and Tommy Morrison's worst performance. Tommy Gunn is one of the worst characters Stallone had invented. Sage Stallone was shit. He was god awful. I hated him in this movie. Yeah, he was in Daylight. I liked him in Daylight, hate him in this movie, And I know Sage Stallone and Tommy Morrison and John G. Avildsen, they both passed away. There's no disrespect to them. I respect to them. Rest in peace, Tommy Morrison. Rest in peace, Sage Stallone. Rest in peace, John G. Avildsen. But this movie, you have to admit it, that this movie is terrible. It's a bad movie. Yeah, my camera fall out because I kicked it, But you have to admit that this movie is bad. Oops, I think I broke it. But this movie is bad. This movie is bad. Rocky 5 is bad. Rocky 5 is bad. It's the worst Rocky film ever. And I don't think that Stallone, that was actually a problem with Stallone. There was Sylvester Stallone, when I saw last year an interview on Rambo 3, how Sylvester Stallone was making Rambo 3, he said that he's gonna do the fifth Rocky film, and he described how he's gonna do it. But I don't know why he insists that the director from the first Rocky Returns, or why he even insisted that this movie to be a story. Because it was completely boring. They did not feel a Rocky film. The Rocky stars. I mean, there isn't any fights, any challenger for Rocky in this movie. He stops fighting because he has a fucking brain damage, or because he sustained a huge, massive blow to the head. He's not allowed to fight anymore. I mean, when I read it last year, in all the years, and I read it, it's completely bullshit, because even with the huge heads of the blow, he still will get the boxing license, He still will get a medical license that he can continue boxing. He still will got it. I mean, Stallone fucked up, Yeah, by the way, if you don't know, this is RANT, Rocky 5. As a kid, I was disappointed. I hated this film as a kid. And I still dislike a lot this film. I mean, Rocky 5, fuck this movie, You know in my dark knows this movie is piece of trash, because I just skip it. So Rocky 5, after Rocky defeated Ivan Drago, the Siberian Bull, the Siberian Express, Rocky Balboa is now like completely, he's like showering, there's like showering scene, and what I thought that Tony Burton's character was Duke Everest, not Tony, and Stallone goes and calls him, hey Tony, like his real name. So now what's Tony Duke Everest or something? It's actually Duke Everest, not Tony. And yeah, he calls him, and Stallone is like, Talia Shire shows up, and Stallone's like shaking. So Stallone goes back, he says, I want to go home, Mick. So Stallone goes to United States, and like his fucking son is like, he grew up, and it's like, it's not, what happened to Rocky Krakow? Why Rocky Krakow did not return? I mean, watch the bond between father and son in Rocky 4. And watch this bond. And he goes and like Bill Conti's music returns, and he goes and hugs him, So he goes on a press conference, and now George Washington Duke, played by the actor who played in Stone Cold with Brian Bossop, the boss. I don't remember. Oof, I forgot the actor, that black actor who was in Stone Cold. But yeah, but Burgess Meredith also returns in flashbacks. But here's another problem. When I was in high school, I tried to find those scenes that Mickey was giving motivation speech in Rocky 1 and 2, but that wasn't, or they actually extra filmed, which I think it was extra filmed, or were the latest scenes from Rocky 1 and 2. Because I don't know on which fight about Apollo Burgess Meredith is talking about. So he gives him like, he gives him like from Rocky Marciano. I mean, they, in Burgess Meredith and Sylvester Stallone did not mention Rocky Marciano until in Rocky 2. Or not in the first one, they only said when you see the poster. But so now Stallone gets what? He gets that necklace or something, So Rocky finds out that his shitty brother-in-law, he did a power to attorney to that incompetent accountant. And the fucking accountant lost their money. He sold and lost the money. They lost millions. While they were in Russia, they lost millions. So now Stallone is broke. So Rocky is now broke, and they lose everything. Their house that they bought, the house, they had to move now back to Philadelphia in the old neighborhood Stallone was living, and come here, come here. They lost motorcycles, the cars. They actually lost almost everything in this movie. You know, so Stallone, he has to go back to the old neighborhood, and Stallone visits come here, Rick. Stallone visits the old gym that was trained by Mickey. He goes back, and now Stallone opens the gym. Yeah, I'm just gonna call this guy. I'm just gonna call it Stallone, not Rocky. He opens the gym, and this guy, Tommy Morrison, shows up and asks Stallone if he could train him. Stallone declines, and of course, George Washington Duke wants to promote the fight, just like the actor acts like he's Don King. You know, he looks like Don King because even on the end of the finale film, he shouted "Only in America." He acts like he's Don King, you know, promoter of the fight. So he wants to promote the biggest gig than Ivan Dragos, you know, and he wants to promote the biggest gig with Union Kane. Michael Anthony Williams, he played Union Kane, now current champion, because Rocky has to retire. And his shitty, ugly, bitchy, motherfucking, stupid, trashy wife, Adrian, keeps continue saying, yeah, he's retired. She's like brainwashing Rocky, in my opinion. I mean, Talia Shire's the worst performance she ever gave, the worst performance, because she was like brainwashing Rocky. She was like speaking for Rocky. Oh, there's a rumor, he's retired, Like, she's the boss of Rocky. I mean, it's his life, he's the fighter, he's the boxer, not she. She's not the manager, she never was a fucking manager, she has no clue about boxing, yet she acts like a boss of him, like a manager of him, and saying, oh, he's retired. So George Washington Duke wants to promote the biggest gig between Union Kane and Rocky in Tokyo, and I would love to see that fight. At least he will get back in the horse, and he will get back billions. But no, Talia Shire was bitching like a little schoolgirl, like a little girl for her mommy, for the doll, because her mommy doesn't buy her a doll. And Rocky was like, you know, like upset because she screwed up. Yeah, I liked it that she apologized, but that doesn't make it right that she goes and interfere into Rocky's decisions. You know, is actually a grown man. You know, he needs to have his own decision, not that someone else makes for him. That's what I mean. And Tommy Gunn goes, played by Tommy Morrison. By the way, he was a real boxer. Tommy Morrison was a real boxer. Tommy Gunn keeps pursuing Rocky, so he gives her a chance, and Tommy is like crazy. He almost knocked his opponent down. And Tommy Morrison keeps continuing insisting to help, that Rocky goes and helps him. So Rocky finally decides to help him out. He brings him the home. He gives him room. And Rocky and Tommy Morrison start training together. And meantime, Robert, played by Sage Stallone, goes into the school, and actually his new school, and he gets bullied by two boys. I think one of the boys was played by Kevin Connolly. I think he played Chicky. Chicky goes and kicks his ass, steals his coat and his money, and he meets this babe, Jules, played by Elizabeth Peters. By Elizabeth Peters, and they became friends. But those kids non-stop bullying Robert, and non-stop are kicking, are actually, the kid keeps beating him and stealing him money, you know, even he stole his coat. So Robert asked Rocky if he could show him a few punches, And what happened? Rocky is so blinded by focusing on Tommy instead his son, and he was rather training Tommy and being a selfish prick in this movie. I would never do that to my son, never. But he was selfish prick. He rather trained Tommy instead helping his son. His son was also important. But no, Rocky was so greedy, he was like greedy in this movie because when he saw this kid, in the ring, he thought that's him, He was comparing himself to the Tommy. But no, he just like Talia Shire's character said, he has no heart. Tommy has no heart. This movie has no heart. It's a soulless movie. So, I don't mind the soundtracks, like go for it, or the tagline, go for it. I like that song. I see in the eyes, but one of the problems is also when Tommy goes training, he goes in the ring, and there's the song. I love that Rocky trains him, but what I did not respect about this film, was how they disrespected Sylvester Stallone. Like people in the crowd were shouting Rocky's robot or Rocky's student or Rocky, I don't know, he's like his robot, he's like in the shadow. And the movie made Tommy Gunn into actually a jealous, selfish, greedy type of person. I hated the character because when he was continue, getting in the top of the ranking, Duke shows up and decides, and he goes and turns around, and he and Tommy Gunn signed the contract, and George Washington Duke now becomes his manager, because he wants to turn him and Rocky against each other. He wants the fight, between Rocky and Tommy. So he goes and he fires Union Kane. He goes and fires Union Kane. He's not in his corner, and he replaces with Tommy Gunn. And when Union Kane, I think that Union Kane could have won, but because he was drop dead, he was fired. He lost like everything. Tommy Gunn goes and clocks him down. And at first I thought it was fixed, but it was actually because Union Kane did not got a proper training. He lost the title. He lost the title. He was washed up. George Washington Duke fucked up Union Kane and fucked up Rocky. The same did to Tommy. They fucked him up. And instead, when Tommy wins the title, instead saying I want to say thank you to the man who was got the engine on my shoulder, and instead saying the man who trained him, who gave him a shot. It was Rocky that gave him a shot. Rocky trained him. Rocky was there for him, and no one was. And instead, he goes and kills his dignity. He disrespects and says, "Mr. George Washington Duke didn't even care." Until he start winning in the ring. I still think that all the fights that Tommy did were fixed or were fake. It's unrealistic and it's a really boring film. It goes nowhere. This movie goes nowhere around. One of the problems is also Sage Stallone, which I hated his character. I mean, when Sage Stallone goes and kicks Kevin Connolly down, so now those two guys became his friends, and now he has a girlfriend, Jewel, and now he has a gang. And because he gets pissed on Rocky, on Christmas, he goes and disrespect Rocky, and he keeps start arguing with Rocky. He keeps rebelling against him, and Rocky doesn't do jack shit. That's another unrealistic garbage stuff they did that Stallone did. If I would do that to my dad, my father will punch me. My father will beat the living hell on me. When I rebelled like Sage Stallone, this movie, my father hit me so hard that he knocked down my glasses. I was really red because I was shouting like Robert did in Rocky. Yeah, but Rocky instead being a father, instead say, you can't talk to me like that. He lets like his fucking shitty son goes and yells at him. I hate this bad. This movie is bad, awful, garbage, piece of trash movie. And fuck Rocky 5 and fuck Creed movies. Fuck this movie. Rocky 5 is a disappointing Stallone film. It's a disappointing Rocky movie. And one of the reasons I have reviewed this movie so many times that I really know, is this a rant or is this a movie review? I shall say rant or movie review, because I don't know. Because Rocky 5 could have been a much better story. I think Rocky 5 was not needed. Rocky 4 ended the series. It ended Rocky series. He's a top of the world. He's smiling. He had the best fight of his life. But Rocky 5 just completely makes it into a sports film. They actually make it a drama film. I don't know, this movie is so forgettable. Rocky 5 is forgettable. It's I think that one of the reasons was the actress Dahlia Shepard. She played Karen. I mean, I think that Tommy Morrison could have got a better girlfriend, better girl, better blonde, nice girl, not some girl that tries to control him, tells him, oh, open me the door. Ugh. This is just terrible. Yeah, some people like Rocky 5, but even as a kid, I hated this film. I think Rocky 5 is actually the worst Rocky film. But I would say the worst one with Creed 2. I hate Creed 2 too. So I think they're both terrible movies, Yeah, some people love Creed 2. I don't like Creed 2 at all. That's one of the reasons why I'm saying that it's a bad, that with Rocky 5 is the worst one. Stallone gave this movie 0, when he was asked on interview. I think he gave the first Rocky 10. I think he gave 7.5 the second one. The third one he gave 9. I don't know why he even gave Rocky 4 7.5, but instead he's now gonna do director's cut at the 35-year anniversary. He's gonna do director's cut. Why the fuck Stallone gave 7.5 the score for Rocky 4? I think he could give it easily 10, In this movie he gave it 0, and that was before Rocky Balboa came out. Thank God Rocky Balboa came out and fixed this movie. I think here is packed drama. It's not packed drama. The final fight, there's a final fight between Rocky and Tommy, because Tommy is pissed because they call him a clone of Rocky Balboa, and he turns against him, against his mentor. He goes to this bar and starts provoking Rocky, and I love it. Paulie goes and defends Rocky and says, Tommy, you're a real piece of garbage. You know that? None of your business. That's none of your business. None of my business? That's none of my business. You know, the man spit blood for you. He put you in front of the family. And you come here with this red bumps, killing his dignity. Rocky is the real champ. Rocky make you a shot. He's the real champ. This is just garbage. Just get out of here that I want to kick your teeth. And Tommy goes and punches him. And I respect Paulie more than I would actually respect him in the 6th movie, you know, or in the 3rd movie. I respect this movie more because he goes and defends Rocky. I respect that. So Tommy goes, knocks down Paulie, and Rocky says, you know, you knock him out. Why don't you try to knock me out? And Union Kane go, no, Union Kane, this guy, Duke goes and says, you know, no, Tommy fights in the ring. Oh, yeah, my fight is outside. No, actually, he said my ring is outside. Yeah, let's do it. And Rocky goes, you know, and Tommy Morrison shows up, and Rocky goes, punches his light out and says, "You blew it, Tommy. You blew it. It's supposed to be this close. And Tommy goes, you know, and kicks the living shit out of Rocky. And he has like flashbacks from the 4th movie in which Drago grabs him and punches in the face. That scene in which then Rocky grabs Drago, throws him on the floor. And there's a fight scene, and then he has a flashback from Mickey, and Mickey says, come on, one more round, you know, and he stands up and starts fighting Tommy. And when you see the camera shots, you know, when Tommy goes and starts winning in front of his face and misses him, that's not Sylvester Stallone, you know, that keeps ducking the blows from Tommy. That's a stuntman. You can see completely that is a stuntman. And when Tommy Morrison grabs Stallone and he throws it through the door and they fall down, you can see again those are stuntmen. So why were stunt doubles in this movie? Why were stunt doubles, you know? That's another problem. The final fight does not save the film, you know. This scene with this statue and this asshole doesn't save the film. Oh, sorry I call him asshole. He is an asshole. He do drugs, you know. I don't care, you know. I hate this movie. I hate Sage Stallone in this movie. His worst performance. I'd rather watch Daylight because it's much better film. He's much better than Daylight this movie, you know. I'd rather watch Over the Top. Over the Top is actually a real story, a wonderful story about father and son, not this movie, you know. Directed by John G. Avildsen, written by Sly himself. Bill Conti returned, which sucked. The score sucked for this film. The fight scenes sucked. It was boring film. It was way too much long. I mean, 1 hour, 44 minutes. It's way too much long in my opinion. Yeah, 1 hour, 44 minutes. Way too much long. The movie is just terrible, it's just boring, awful, just the worst Rocky movie, you know. I don't really have that much to say, you know. I mean, he stopped boxing, he had to retire, and like Talia Shire was keep talking about him. I mean, what was actually Adrian? Was she wasn't protected. She was like she acted like she was boss of him. She acts like she was a fucking manager of him. Oh, he's retired. He's retired. Oh, to him became crippled, but he will make money. No. Rocky is supposed to ignore fucking wife. She has no jack shit about boxing, you know. She has no jack shit, and he's supposed to choose his own decision. Rocky's supposed to make his own decision and stop listening to Adrienne whatever she wants, you know. She only did it because she was loving him, because she was selfish. You know, because she was tired of watching him in the fight. She was tired of everyone, and she just wanted to live normal. And that's one of the reasons why she was against it. Why she did not support Rocky. Why she was against it. I hated the platonic relationship between Rocky and Adrian. It sucked. I mean, everyone will agree that the relationship between Rocky and Adrian is actually toxic. Yeah, it's toxic. It's plutonic, just like in the Karate Kid Part 3. It's toxic. It's plutonic. And I'm tired of Talia Shire. I'm glad in Rocky Balboa she was killed off. I didn't miss her at all. And I know it makes me like a selfish break, but it's true. I didn't miss her at all. I'm glad she was gone. Rocky 5 is a huge step down from the first predecessor movies. So all 4 movies are great. This movie sucks. I think it's trash. My opinion, this movie is boring. It's trash. It was unnecessary. I think that Stallone, it was not needed to do the 5th Rocky film. Even as a kid, I hated this film. I mean, the character, like Robert Balboa, was shitty. And one of the reasons I forgot to mention, one of the biggest problems by me was that Robert, after he beat that chickie, after he defeated him and he said, if you want to end, let's do it now. And they became friends. But one of the problems was that Robert was now acting like a leader, like a gang leader. He has a girlfriend. He got a girl. He's a fucking kid and he got a girl. He got 2 kids now on his side. And he has like a gang leader. Smokes. He goes and smoke. How much was he old? 10? He was smoking? Yeah. Sylvester Stallone was smoking this movie. He was smoking in this movie. Instead, Rocky, being a fucking father and teach him discipline, he rather let him to do whatever he wanted, Or Robert goes yes at him, shouts at him, rebelling against him, does not listen, does not obey him, does not act like a fucking son. He acts like his opponent, and Rocky just stands there and doesn't do anything. He lets that his son talks to him like that. If I would be a father, I would say, hey, you can't talk to me like that. I'm your father, you live under my roof, I'm paying the rent, I'm paying the bills, not you. I am feeding you, you can't talk to me like that. And I would say Tommy gives us second chance because he got money. You don't get it, you're too young, And if he will keep rebelling, I will grab him and I will lock him down and I will say to his friends, go home, kids, you're not here, welcome here anymore, go home. And I will lock him in the fucking room. I would go and lock in the fucking room and I will take his cell phone, his internet, and I'll make sure that he will no escape from the room. I'll make sure he won't escape. But if he will jump off the window, I will lock. Then he can sleep on the floor in the outside. I will be very strict. I will give him the piece of my mind and I'll give him a fucking breath. I will go and I will slap him and I will make sure that he's not gonna talk with me like that. When I talk to my dad like that, my dad was hitting me. Yeah, he slapped me so hard that that my face and my head was hurting me. But Rocky's doesn't do anything. He lets that his son talks to him like that. No, that's just not right. I would definitely say you can't talk to me like that. I'm your father, and you're my son, and you're gonna do whatever I say to do. So yeah, he had no time for his son. I got it. But there's no way that his son talks to him like that. There's no way. So they try to do that. Rocky goes back to the roots, his roots. The Italian stallion discovers his roots. He's not even called the Italian stallion in this movie. What happened to his nickname, He's not even called the Italian stallion. He's not called the Italian stallion. He was called in all 4 movies the Italian stallion. He wasn't called the Italian stallion in this movie, Or maybe he wasn't in Rocky 3, but Apollo was calling him Stallion in Rocky 4, if I remember. Also, Rest in peace, Tony Burton, but he also disappears from the film. He's only in a cameo scene and he disappears. And one of the problems was like Tony Burton's name was Tony, and Rocky calls him Tony instead Duke, Duke Everest, because that's a real name. It's like confusing. I mean, was that scene an outtake? Probably. And I really wanted that Sylvester Stallone, that Rocky goes once again in a boxing match. I want, as a kid, as I said, who's gonna fight next? He had the best match of his life. Who's gonna fight? Who's gonna step in front of him? He's the champion. And I hate the disrespect. And every time I watch this film, I miss the first Rocky more. I miss the first Rocky film more. Because in my opinion, Rocky deserves a respect. And Tommy Morrison's character goes and completely disrespect and do the opposite of the boxing, the opposite what his manager does for him. I will not do that. I will not do that. I won't be ungrateful, selfish prick. I will say thank you to Rocky. And even and I didn't like it that Tommy Morrison was like calling his shot, "Oh, it's my way or the highway." I mean, they stole the line from this movie, Roadhouse. It's my way or the highway. I mean, come on. It's painful to watch this movie. It's boring. Nothing almost happens, It's just boring film. It's just slow paced. It's go very slow around. It's sluggish. I mean, I'm wondering if anyone fall asleep during this movie, because I did fall asleep a few times, because this movie really fall me asleep because it's so boring. Because almost nothing happened. John G. Elsa's terrible direction. Worst performance by Sage Stallone. Worst performance by Tommy Morrison. Worst performance by the actress who played Karen. I think it was Delia Shepard. Worst performance by Elizabeth Peters. Worst performance by Kevin Connolly. The worst performance by Talia Shire. Her worst performance on screen I have ever seen. And I don't watch her movies that much, but I think even the Godfather trilogy, she was much better actress than this movie. And yeah, the Godfather Part 3 came out the same year, and I think the Godfather Part 3 was better than this film. I don't think that it's actually one of Sylvester Stallone's worst movies. No, I don't think it's actually. I don't think that's Sylvester Stallone's worst performance. The best thing about the film is only Sylvester Stallone. He's the only good thing about him, watching him. But how he plays and portrays Rocky, this isn't Rocky. Does not feel like Rocky. He feels like he's selfish. He's prick. I mean, in the extended cut, actually in the work print version. Rocky isn't selfish. He's actually down on his luck, and he isn't a selfish prick. And even when he goes and fights, he even tries to convince Tommy that what he's doing is wrong, And he also, when he goes and fights Tommy, he on the end gives him twice a hand, shows a respect. What happened to that scene? Why that scene was not in the scene? I think that work print version would work better. In my opinion, work print version worked better than the theatrical cut. Theatrical cut sucked. This movie sucked. And I think there's a lot of fans, some people say it's their third favorite Rocky. To me, it's the worst Rocky film. Rocky 5 is just... It's just not... Doesn't feel like Rocky. There's nothing inspiring about the film. There's nothing good about the film, Even the final fight with stunt doubles does not work. It does not make this movie that great, Yeah. I really don't have much to say about Rocky 5 except that It's sluggish, it's slow paced, it's terrible, it falls me asleep, it's a sleepy movie. It means that's boring, it's over dramatic, and I don't think that the people who defend this film or like this film, I don't agree that it's so great or that it's a good movie. No, it's not. Anyway, that's my rant on Rocky 5. Yeah, this time I ranted around. Take care, have a good day, and I'll see you soon, which I'm gonna finally talk about and review Rocky Balboa. Anyway, I'm out. Take care. Thanks for listening. Peace.